Hey everyone, how's it going? Thanks so much for tuning in. For today's video, we're going to be taking an in-depth look into the BMW M Coupe. In this review, I'm going to start it up, show the engine, get an exhaust clip, and go over the performance data. Of course, I'll take it on a thorough drive and show you many of the unique aspects throughout the interior as well as exterior. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop on in, start her up, and let her run. Also, a huge thanks to my friends at Cosmo Motors of Hickory, North Carolina for providing this opportunity today. For more information about the dealership, including contact info and current inventory, please feel free to check out their website provided in the description box below. As a dyed-in-the-wool car enthusiast, it's always exciting to see a manufacturer branch out and do something against the grain, especially if that something has to do with performance. When BMW decided to greenlight production of a Z3 Coupe, that's exactly what they did. The car is an oddity that you just can't help but love, not just because they're rare as hen's teeth, especially the M Coupe, but the fact that they even exist in the first place. After all, BMW already had the Z3 Roadster and M Roadster, not to mention the already impressive M3. You might have thought there wouldn't have been a reason for them. Thankfully, that wasn't the case. The Coupe was something different, a car that was developed on the side pretty much in secret by a small group of passionate engineers. What started as a way to increase structural stiffness of the Roadster's chassis led to the creation of arguably one of the coolest cars to come out of the new millennium. Let's face it, the Z3 Coupe and M Coupe were about as unique and niche market as a modern car can get. To keep development costs down, many of the body panels, including the doors and everything from the A-pillars forward, were carried over from the Roadster. The fastback or shooting brake style roofline is the most polarizing aspect of the car. Some love it, some hate it. Personally, I think it's pretty rad. It does grow on you, especially when you take a moment to notice its muscular and wide stance. At 158.5 inches long, 68.5 inches wide, and 50.4 inches high, with a 96.8-inch wheelbase, the Z3 Coupe is not a big car, but it does make a powerful statement. It was never intended to be a big seller, nor was it meant to meet market expectations. In fact, it strayed so far away from the norm that BMW's sales literature even stated that no, it's not for everyone and it's not meant to be. The Z3 Coupe and M Coupe were produced between 1998 and 2002 and were known by many nicknames due to their shape. My personal favorite is Clown Shoe. It's a rewarding car to drive that's immensely fun and practical at the same time. The M Coupe sported several unique styling touches to set it apart from a regular Z3 Coupe. While subtle, the changes certainly add a dose of aggression. The M-specific front bumper trades fog lamps for a pair of brake cooling ducts. Towards the bottom, it almost looks like the car is sprouting a pair of fangs, a dramatic difference compared to the smooth lower fascia of the Z3. Across the sides, the most notable changes include M-specific wheels, new chrome-accented fender vents with M logos, and curved M-specific side view mirrors. Out back, a new bumper visually lowers the car and houses a pair of quad-polished exhaust tips. You'll also notice that the license plate housing was moved from the bumper to the tailgate. Lastly, instead of having black plastic windshield washer nozzles like the Z3 Coupe, the M Coupe's nozzles are chrome. Pricing for the 1999 M Coupe began at $41,800. This example only has two additional options from the factory, including the Power Glass moonroof and BMW CD radio. With a destination charge of $570, total MSRP was $41,870. The M Coupe came equipped with staggered M Roadstar 17-inch alloy wheels. They're 7.5 inches wide in front and 9 inches wide in the rear, wrapped in two 25/45 and two 45/40 tires respectively. With this setup, the car was able to corner at about 0.87 g of lateral acceleration. A regular Z3 Coupe wore 16 by 7 inch alloys all the way around, however a 17 inch staggered option was available, just not the same exact setup used on the M. The M Coupe also received larger brakes, composed of 4-wheel internally ventilated discs. The fronts measured 12.4 by 1.1 inches, while the rears measured 12.3 by 0.8 inches. Each are clamped down by single piston calipers that can bring the car to a stop from 60 miles an hour in about 125 feet. ABS and traction control were standard. The rack and pinion steering is firm and full of feel. Both the ratio and the level of assistance is speed dependent, allowing for greater adaptability to the driving situation at hand. At low speeds, it's easy to maneuver. In fact, the turning circle is just 34.1 feet. At higher speeds, and especially through the corners, it's more precise feeling, responding to your inputs with greater immediacy and accuracy. It also leads to excellent highway stability. The ratio on center is 17.8 to 1, and it takes about 3.2 turns to lock. Underpinning the M Coupe is a fully independent suspension with McPherson struts in front and semi-trailing arms in the rear. Twin-tube shock absorbers and coil springs can be found at each corner, along with front and rear anti-roll bars. The basic design was also shared with the Z3 Coupe. Of course, the M Coupe features quite a list of enhancements to improve handling by a significant margin. Changes include 0.4 inch wider front and rear tracks, a 1.1 inch drop in ride height, and modified suspension geometry that focused on enhancing anti-squat and anti-dive properties out back. That's not all though, as the springs and shocks were firmed, the anti-roll bars were thickened, the rear subframe was reinforced, and stronger trailing arms were added. BMW claimed this was the stiffest car they had developed up to that point, about 2.7 times stiffer than the Roadster. If you wanted to get a bit more technical, static structural stiffness was 16,400 Nm per degree of twist. Dynamic stiffness was rated at 29.2 Hz, which is pretty much identical to an E36 M3 Coupe. Despite all of the stiffening measures, the M Coupe still rides pretty good. It's taut and takes corners with ease, but it's still perfectly enjoyable for a relaxed afternoon cruise through the countryside. Total curb weight dependent on options ranged between 3,000 and 3,100 pounds. Weight distribution was an equal 50-50 between the front and rear axles. Between 1999 and 2000, North American spec M Coupes and Roadsters were powered by a silky smooth and rev-happy 3.2-liter inline six-cylinder, the same one found in the E36 M3. Known as the S52, it differs quite a bit from the European spec S50, which featured more advanced construction, a slightly higher displacement, and quite a bit more power. The S52 is based closely off of BMW's 2.8-liter M52, which came standard in the Z3 Coupe and was optional in the Z3 Roadster. The S52 benefited from a larger 86.4mm bore and a longer 89.6mm stroke to increase total displacement from 2,797 cubic centimeters to 3,152 cubic centimeters. The block is cast from iron while the head is aluminum. The valve train consists of double overhead camshafts, 4 valves per cylinder, and 2-stage variable valve timing on the intake side. The latter was specifically tuned to promote high RPM operation. Being an M product, there was a host of internal changes too, including a ported and polished cylinder head, upgraded valve springs, more finely balanced camshafts, as well as new valve lifters, springs, and spring seats to reduce mass. A less restrictive intake and exhaust system finished things off. Fuel is delivered by sequential port injection, accompanied by a compression ratio of 10.5 to 1. Maximum engine speed is about 6,800 RPM. With the S52, the M Coupe develops 240 horsepower at 6,000 RPM and 236 pound-feet of torque at 3,800 RPM. This allowed it to hit 60 miles an hour in about 5.1 seconds and accelerate to a governed top speed of 137 miles per hour. It's hard to match the character of a naturally aspirated six-cylinder. It's something I've always admired about older BMWs. It's part of what makes this car so special, a definitive heart and soul that offers up so much character. For the time, 240 horsepower was still quite a lot. Even with the wide tires out back, this is a car that needs to be treated with respect. It's like an eager puppy that'll quickly get out of hand at the moment you let your guard down. If you're an enthusiast that appreciates a proper analog feel to your sports car, that's what you get with the M Coupe. It embodies what it means to be an ultimate driving machine. Continuing that theme is the fact that the only transmission offered was a slick shifting 5-speed manual with a direct 1-to-1 fifth gear. Power is sent to the rear wheels through a torsion limited slip differential with a 3.23-to-1 final drive and up to 25% lock-in ability. The transmission feels precise and the throws are short. The M Coupe, like its roadster counterpart, came with a 13.5-gallon fuel tank. The use of 91 octane fuel is recommended, with mileage ratings between 19 miles per gallon in the city and 26 miles per gallon on the highway. Expected average is 22 to 23 miles per gallon. The M Coupe's interior was practically identical to the Roadster, only made a lot more practical with increased passenger and cargo space. It's a stylish and sporty design with well-placed controls, simple switchgear, and just the right amount of creature comforts. When you open the door, you're greeted by unique sill plates and a 3-spoke M steering wheel with tricolor stitching. The chrome-ringed instrument cluster features red needles instead of white. Along with a higher indicated top speed and red line, an M Coupe logo accents the tachometer. The center console was updated to incorporate 3 chrome-ringed auxiliary gauges, including an analog clock, voltometer, and an oil temperature gauge. Normally in a Z3, that area would house a digital clock and controls for the heated seats, traction control, rear defroster, AC activation, and the air recirculation system. Those controls are simply grouped together beneath the gauges. An illuminated M shift knob highlights the center console along with a chrome boot surround. The heated sports seats are wrapped in high-grade Napa leather with special pleated trim. Leather also covers the door pulls and center console. The oval-shaped rearview mirror is specific to the M. As far as color options, you can spec all black like this one or select between a variety of two-tone themes. If an alternate color was selected, it would be reflected across the center console and even the steering wheel for added contrast. Both seats offer power sliding and height adjustment with manual recline. The seats are pretty well rounded for a sports car. There's no adjustable lumbar, but there's plenty of lateral support for your thighs and torso. The upper backrests are flared for added shoulder support and the headrests are fixed. I'm 5'10", and despite the steering wheel angle being fixed, I felt the driving position was very nice. Plus, with all of the glass and slender pillars, visibility is excellent. As far as safety, occupants are protected by dual-stage front airbags and side impact airbags. Considering its size, the Z3 Coupe is a pretty versatile little car. And being that this is an M product, it came with pretty much all of the options that BMW offered at the time, including a 9-speaker Harman Kardon audio system. Some extra stuff shown here include an in-dash CD player, a car phone, and a power-sliding moonroof. So now let's go ahead and see how she sounds. One of my favorite things about this car, like I touched on earlier, is that it was very much purpose-built. Yes, the styling is quite polarizing to a lot of people, but it wasn't meant to win any design awards. It was meant to be a great driving car with excellent torsional rigidity and a lot more practical use on a daily basis, making the M Coupe in particular a very well-rounded car for many reasons. Take cargo space for example. The main cabin has a good-sized glove box and door pockets, all the typical stuff, but out back, instead of 5 cubic feet that you get in the Roadster, you get 9 cubic feet. Along with the cargo privacy cover, there's also a net that you can pull up to act as a divider to make sure stuff in the back stays in the back even under hard braking. Well everyone, I hope you enjoyed the in-depth look at the BMW M Coupe. Be sure to stay tuned next time, leave a like and subscribe today, there's always a lot more where that came from. Take care everyone.